Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Beth.
Okay, there you go. Sorry, I don't remember, but that one gets big groups. Yeah, I think I did the strumpets and you did strumpets. I remember you now. Yeah.
I saw you then. That was nice. Hello.
Hello, darling.
Hello, Jennifer.
It's all well.
All's well up to a point. You know how it is. How about you?
Yeah, much the same. We're here.
We are here. That's what matters.
Important thing. And we're 1 minute away, darling, so I'm going to want...
Yeah, I'll be quiet now. Good luck.
Thank you. Break a leg, darling.
Thank you.
That would be brilliant. Yeah, unfortunately, there'll be one of these. They'll be running through this. Oh my God, are you having oh no, you're not. No, but I'm going there. I thought, oh, was it like 50? In the land of climate change, they're hoping it's gonna get a little bit with the rain. Yeah, okay, the monsoon is expected. But it's the same when I have Sumeka with some Egyptians. Something because Gigi is handing out chairs. Gigi's got a special assignment. Yeah. I think it's changed on this. Spirits of the dead, spirits of the living, kindred, welcome. Welcome to everybody here tonight at the Crossbones, including my new friend, at the Crossbones vigil to honour the outcast, both dead and alive, both without and within. We're here to refresh and renew the shrine, and we reclaim the goose's secret history. It's also a very special evening tonight, because 20 years ago tonight, on the 23rd of June 2004, the very first vigil to honour the outcast was performed here. Tonight's our 20th birthday party.
there has been a human presence here at the gates every single month since June 2004. Even during lockdown, some precious and courageous souls were here to offer their prayers, hang candles, spatter a bit of gin about, and generally hold the space for when the rest of us come back, we know there's a continual line. In 1996, John had his first vision of the goose. And these gates are an integral part of that vision, because as John was being led by the spirit voice that was leading him through the streets of Southwark, he stopped outside these red gates because a voice said to him, "For tonight in hell, they are tolling the bell at the hall for the whore that lay at the tabard. And well we know how the carrion crow doth feast in our Crossbones graveyard." She told him who she was, what he was, where they
Natalie, you've muted yourself.
and to dance with the dead, because each one of us, while we were there, wore a ribbon on our wrist. And on that ribbon was the name of a person who, as far as we knew, was buried here at Crossbones. And at the end of the evening, we would process from wherever we were doing ritual reenactment. We would process here and we would hang the ribbons on the gates to free the spirits, because that evening had been spent, one spirit incarnate with one spirit disincarnate, and then we came and hung them on the gates and kissed them all goodbye. And as the years were going on of that Halloween of Crossbones, it was noted that in November the gates looked great. January, February, they still looked quite good. But getting on into the next year and towards the summer, they started looking really bare. So in 2004, it was agreed that we would meet here monthly to do the same kind of offering, to offer goose words, to honour the outcast, refresh and renew the shrine, and reclaim the goose's secret history. And the reason we're here at this point of these gates is because of what is behind these. Crossbone Cove, also previously known as the Crossbones, in oral history as the single women's burial ground. But for the last 200 years of its life, until 1853, when it was closed down, this was the burial ground for the people of the parish of St. Mary Overy, St. Saviour's and St. Mary Overy, which you can see just in the background there with the St. George's flag, because that very church is now Southwark Cathedral. That church buried these poor people. We call these people outcasts because they are, in a sense, outcasts from society, because they were the very lowest of society. But in those days, however perfunctory the ritual, they were buried with Christian ritual. But they weren't buried with respect and honour, because behind these gates, which is what? 2 tennis courts, 3 tops, lie the mortal remains of 15,000 people. Women, children, men. When the Museum of London Archaeology Department did one dig and they took away the mortal remains of 148 people. 60% of those bodies were children. And they estimated that this was 1% of the people that were buried here. What Crossbones also does is hold the memory, if not the very bones, of the Winchester geese, the women who worked in the borough when it was known as the Liberty of Winchester, with the Bishop of Winchester for 500 years being the landlord of this area, where everything that the city didn't want, everything that was outcast from the city, bull baiting, bear fighting, dog fighting, cockfighting, theatres, strangely enough, because really actors are really no better than horrors, are they? Let's face it. And of course the brothels, which started here when the Romans invaded Britain on the south bank of the River Thames. All that stuff was over here. But the women who worked in the brothels were licensed by their landlord, the Bishop of Winchester, to ply their prostitute trade. But when they died, they weren't allowed a Christian burial. So we understand that this would have been in ancient times, if indeed Crossbones is the burial ground. We do not know that for sure. Nobody knows where the Winchester geese are buried. What we do here is we honour them where nobody else has honoured them. As people, as women with stories and lives, the people here with stories and lives, some of which we do know about, some because of some amazing research by some amazing people. I keep saying the word amazing. That we have actually found out the names of some of the people who are here, who lie here. But many more we don't know. Out of 15,000 people, maybe we know, I don't know, maybe we know 50. But for me personally, these people are the ancestors. I don't know how you relate. But while we're here, what we do, especially at these gates, you see, this portal, this connection between two worlds, we on this side, we're the living. Them on that side, they're the dead. When the goose rose up, woken, she said to John, out of her sleep of eternity by being dug up by TfL when they were digging to make the electricity substation, she came first of all to protect her outcast dead. And then it seems as she goes on talking to John, she's here to protect all her outcast, whether living or dead. And then, however this outcastery seems to be, whether it's bits of you inside you that you hate and you would rather not have, we have a chance to honour that place inside us. If there's somebody outside who you despise, if they were here standing next to you, you two would just be two pieces of humanity gathered together, as the goose says, all her children gathered there, the deformed and the deviant, endowed with grace and dignity, and embraced into her unity. We come to start dropping our shields, to start dropping our skins, to drop our protection, so we become one, the living, the dead, those yet to be, in an unbroken, single beingness. And within there, there's healing, there's love, there's gentleness, there's all sorts of possibilities. We're not here, we never have been here to be a religious service. This has always been an act of sacred profanity, because we don't believe we can separate spirit, body, good, bad, holy, not holy, clean, dirty. We've got it all. We're fully rounded. And here we can just be and practice the 4 or 5 very simple rituals that we have done here for the last 20 years. You're welcome to come closer, but you look like you're quite comfortable. Now, Charmaine's got a chair, and there's another lady who's found a chair, but I would like to introduce you just for a moment to Gigi, who is doing her degree. She will tell you more about herself during the sacred offerings, but if there's anybody that does need a chair to sit on, put up your hand, because Gigi is providing a bit of seating for us this evening. I might need it, Gigi. So the first ritual that we perform is the minute silence. We light the open pathways candle, that all the beings in all the worlds may be truly in liberty. And we stand with the silence of this candle in the noise of the city, but outside the noise, when the noise rises and falls, when the trains come and then they go again, there's the silence behind the noise. Our noise inside us. Let it yatter away. Be here with whatever you consider to be your light, your love, your passion, however you translate that light into yourself. Be here just that, just us. Ian, could I ask you please to hold the open pathways candle? What I will do is I will ding the bell once, and then after a minute I'll ding it again. Those of you who are new to the vigil will come to recognize that with each of the rituals that we do, we shed something else, we shed another layer to become closer and closer to being one. And the next ritual that we do is called the binding and loosing. And here we invite people to hang their gifts if they've brought gifts themselves. And if you haven't bought gifts, we would invite you to take one of our ribbons so that you do have a gift to hang on the gates. Ian's going to be passing amongst you, moving in a mysterious way, a lot like God. And tonight, we have black, red and white. And there are just 3 that are different. Because yesterday, at the great get-together, we honoured the life of Joe Cox, the Labour MP who was murdered, how long ago? In 2016. One of her principles that we have more in common than that which keeps us apart. And so if anybody happens to come upon the checkered ribbons that are in honour of the great get-together and Joe Cox, as well as your own reasons for hanging your ribbon on the gates, please hang it for Joe as well. Sorry, it's a little bit of a mess. Clutch them like they're your pearls, dear, and then somebody can just rip them out of your hands. Yes, because they're so now, as we said, it's also the anniversary of the vigil. And so you've all got goose gifts from the goose. So while Ian is walking around there, who can I ask? Can I ask you to move amongst? In the pirate captain's hat, which nobody has worn, I think I can state categorically since John took it off his head. In here, miraculously, and I don't know how, arrived a bunch of goose feathers. And written on the front of each, it says, the goose and the crow bring you the gift of. And on the other side is your gift. Please feel free to take them, to keep them, to offer them to somebody else, to stick them in your back pocket, to give them to your one to the man on the Clapham omnibus. They are for you. And while we're doing the passing around, I will explain to you. This part of the ritual, this binding and loosing, to me has always been a giveaway. Because we make this something of ourselves. This is mine. And whatever energy I imbue the ribbon with, when it's time, I tie it to the goat as my gift. And then I walk away. I bind myself in a certain sense to the gates, and then I walk away. Sometimes we know we have to let go. We might not necessarily want to let go of all sorts of things, people, situations. Sometimes we have to let go. And when we're here, the work that we do is always practice. This is a simple, gentle, and easy way of learning to let go of what you love so much. If you don't know what to put into the energy of your ribbon when you're tying to the gates, it was always John's suggestion, and I see no reason to change it now. Think of the person you hate the most, and while you're tying this ribbon, wish them what you would wish for yourself. And I completely forgot to say, the reason why Natalie's standing here with her camera, hi Jackie and everybody, is since lockdown, we've also had a vigil going. So every month, people from all over the world can meet at the gates. Really, they don't want to be listening to me. They want to be looking at the gates, but that's the payment they have to make. And how we hang our ribbons on the gates is to what we call the echo prayer, which is not really a prayer, it's really a statement of what we do. And it's called echo because as the people who know it will recite it, if you don't know it, we invite you to just echo back the words that you might hear. If I say here lay, and you like it, just keep repeating here lay, here lay, here lay, whatever you hear. So there's always an echo. The Zoom vigil will also come on, so you will hear their voices as well. And the poem will be repeated 5 times to give us all an opportunity to quietly come forward to the gates. You'll be touching the gates. Get as close as you can to the gates. Your nose can actually be over there, dear, while you're still standing. Is everybody done? Have you got your gifts? Have you got your ribbon? Here lay your hearts.
Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries. Here lay your hearts, your flowers, your book of hours, your fingers, your thumbs, your miss you mums. Here hang your hopes, your dreams, your might have beens, your locks, your keys, your mysteries.
The next ritual that we do here is called sacred offerings. And here we step back. When I say we, I honestly don't think I'm the queen. I'm part of the MC, the Magical Collective, that offers the vigil to you. If anybody else wants to become part of the Magical Collective, please come and talk to me at the end. We can always do work together. So what happens is I step away, having invited whoever wants to step forward and offer a short offering. It's not an open mic, a short offering which is something to do with Crossbones. We always open and close these days, especially since John retired, with goose words, which I'll be rhapsoding tonight. But if any of you want to learn a goose poem by heart and come and be a goose rhapsode, please come and step forward. But before we start, let me have a little show of hands as to who wants to say anything. 1, 2, 3. Yes, yes. Yes. Sorry, I thought you had your hands up, Sam. Okay. 4. If suddenly in the middle of whatever anybody's doing, you get a desire to, I feel to do so and so, a song, a poem, honouring somebody who has died of your own. There's plenty of our own on this is partly again what we're here for as the ritual has grown over the years. I'm going to break the tradition because I'm so keen to do this. Charmaine, who is sitting shyly here and doesn't want to say anything, found out that it was the birthday of the vigil. And she said, "Oh, I make cake. Would you like a birthday cake?" Oh, wow. Oh my God.
Oh my God. It's almost a shame to eat it, isn't it?
Almost.
Yeah. Really. Oh, it's so beautiful. Really. Put the gate on there.
She said, "Do you want anything particular on it?" And I said, "No, the gate." And she said, "Yeah, all right."
That is incredible. Wow.
Charmaine,
Sorry.
thank you. Another round of applause, please. Sometime very soon, but not with the rosemary for remembrance, because that would be silly. I'm going to cover it up. So it's occurred to me that there's such a lot of people here that might not have been before. So 2 poems that I'm going to offer you at the beginning of the sacred offerings and at the end to kind of introduce the goose a little bit to you. Hello. It's supposed to be a goose, not a pigeon that thinks it's I was born a goose of Southwark by the grace of Mary Overy, whose bishop gives me license to sin within the liberty. Too late now. In backside stews and taverns, you can hear me on, right daintily. As I unlock the hidden door and veil my secret history, I will dunk you in the river and then reveal my mystery. When almighty city fathers, those great guardians of morality, do ban all gaming, drunkenness and acts of gross effrontery, what, though they throw me in the clink or King's Bench or Marshalsea and leave me there to rot, they think, for brazen acts of harlotry, I call upon my bishop as defender of my liberty. And when our lords in Westminster denounce my impious blasphemy, my gob in the face of all God-fearing servants of his majesty, what, though they thunder over there, it matters not a fig to me. Over here's the ward without the laws of London city, where whores are subject only to fair Southwark and her liberty. I don't need to tell you that because we're not a church service, you can applaud. You've all just taken it on naturally. So I think I would like Gigi to come along and just explain exactly why she's brought 3 chairs to the vigil. Sorry. Everybody that's going to speak here, because everybody's treating you like you've got the plague, you will have to project to make sure everybody hears. So if you want these to hear, talk to them up there. Yeah? Good woman yourself.
Let me start with a self-introduction. And I'm a student from UCL Bartlett School of Architecture. And now I'm learning my master program about architecture and historic urban environments. And I choose Crossbones Graveyard as my final project subject. And that's why I'm here. Because last month, I also went to the vigil, attend the vigil, and I found someone like they carrying a walking stick here, or some maybe elderly, they are not so convenient. And because last time I remember that I just stand there about 15 minutes for the whole process. It's a little bit tired for me. Maybe because I'm a lazy girl, I just want to lay in or sitting. I don't want to stand such a long time. So that's I think about some little improvement about these activities. And that's why I bring the 3 chairs here. And before the starting of this video, I have asked some people, maybe they carry a stick, whether they want to stay there. And I found many people, maybe they prefer to sitting on the ground. Yeah, if you feel a little bit tired and want to sit on the chair, just feel free to sit there. And I will keep these 3 chairs for the following monthly videos. Yeah, just feel free to sit there. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't that a wonderful thought that somebody's been to the vigil, taken something about the vigil, whatever it may be, and then carried it with her all the way through the whole month and come back carrying that thread of Crossbones with her. Now, who have we got next? Did you want to speak? Come forward, please. Say your name. Tell everybody what you're doing here.
Hi, my name is Shreya. I hope you can hear me. It's my 4th time here, but I don't come here very often, but it's my favorite place in London. And I've been coming here since I was, well, I won't tell you, for 15 years. And I just want to thank the goose aloud for this space and for what she's done for me, and for so many of us. The first time I came here, a man called John, not John, but a man called John, who was unhoused, was leading a walking tour and led me straight to Crossbones. And the second time I came here, I returned after 9 years away, felt very out of place, felt London to be strange, and was wandering very sadly down, and I looked up and Crossbones was right there. And the third time I came here with someone I loved very much, and lost shortly afterwards. Was the only time I was inside, because magically, without any planning, she was open then. And today I happened to come here at the end of a very personally difficult week. And by difficult, I mean I'm struggling with a long-term illness. And of course, something magical is happening, which is the 20th anniversary. Every time I come here, I can feel the heart of the magic of this place. And I am just speaking my thanks out loud for all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Vanessa. I've been coming here since I followed the Green Man and some elaborately dressed lady from Borough Market one October. I think it was October 20 festival. And they said we're going to Crossbones, and I'd seen it a few times in the Southwark News. I'd never been here, but I thought I've got to follow these elaborately dressed actors. And I came here, and John Crow was here with his guitar. And he said we come here 23rd day of every month, 7 o'clock. So I've been coming quite a few years. But what I wanted to talk about today was, it's an outcast man in America. It's on YouTube today. This outcast man, he's homeless. He's very dirty and scruffy and probably smelly. He goes into a shop to buy a sandwich. And he puts the $5 bill on the counter, but it's all scrunched up in a ball. And the shopkeeper is really miserable looking woman. She said, I can't accept that. So it's the only money he's got. He flattened it out with his really dirty hands because he's an outcast, he's homeless. And he straightened it out. He picked up the sandwich, so she had to take the money. She put it by the till and he held his hand out for his change. And the lady took the change from the till and she dropped it on the floor by his feet. She would not hand it to him because he's an outcast. He didn't like it. And he went over to the fridge and he got the bottle of Coke out of the fridge. So he got his sandwich in his drink and said you have to pay for that. And he pointed to the money on the floor and he walked out. Good for him.
Well done, that man. Sometimes we're so taken with our sympathy for these people who obviously did have a very hard life. But that we forget that kind of they did an awful lot of enjoying themselves. What's happening, Goose Samurai? Okay.
Carl wants to leave.
Isn't that lovely? Melissa, Joe, do you want to come and? Oh, you found somebody to look after your little dog.
I've had several offers, yes.
So I went to a funeral of a dear friend on Friday. She was the same age as me, 55, full of life and joy and interest. She liked wild swimming and she was in a punk band called The Boilers. She was a drummer in a punk band. And obviously it was very sad because she died very suddenly. I might cry, but it's okay. I won't wail like last month. Her name was Lucy. And I don't know, I saw her husband at the funeral and they've been together for many years and they really loved each other. You know, one of those lovely marriages, great marriage, very good and nurturing to each other. And so it came to me to sing this. And if anybody else knows the words, because I don't know if I know all the words, I'll just know the words that I know. My old man is a singer. He's a walker in the wind. He's a dancer in the dark. We don't know from the city hall, keeping us tight and true. Oh, my old man. The beds to be, the frying pans through. We don't oh, keeping us tight and true. Oh, man.
join me and Melissa Joe in wishing her friend Lucy Viva! Viva Lucy! Thank you. I know there was somebody else, but
Yeah, I
I'm
wanted
afraid
to
I've
say.
lost her. Oh, Maria, I knew there was somebody else.
Sorry. So yeah, I'll just to give the context for what I'm going to do. I run walking tours about women's history in London. So I do a walking tour that goes through Southwark and this area, and obviously I talk about Crossbones because I've known about Crossbones for quite some years and been coming down regularly to see it, to visit, and going to the vigils and events. It's a really special place, and I've always felt like I have some sort of connection here. Don't know if people believe in this, but past life or something. I think many of us probably do. That's why we're drawn here, ancestors, and it's in our DNA, you know. So basically, I've written a poem, very short, that I just like to recite. That is inspired by the goose and by more the unsung heroines, the unsung heroes, the ordinary people, not just women, the ordinary men and women who we don't know about, the forgotten heroes, I like to call them. So this is called I Tried My Best, I Could Try No More. I tried my best, I could try no more, said the maid, the wife, the mother, the whore. I lived my life as best I could. Yes, I regret more than I should. But I laughed and I cried. I loved and I bled. I cared for my children and I buried my dead. I made mistakes. I wasted time. I wasn't perfect, but I did shine. And now I lie here in my grave. Remember me, for I was brave. I had hopes and I had dreams. I had many might have beens. Some came true and some did not, but I did my best, and that's a lot. So remember me when times are tough, and just be your best, because that's enough. Thank you very much. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
Do you want to say something, ladies and gentlemen? The star, Suzanne.
I just thought it was appropriate on the 20-year anniversary to say, when I moved around here in 1995, and there was a planning application in 1996 about the development of this site to be a 10-story office block, I thought, oh, I'd better just sort of do some investigation, you know, as a diligent local member of the community. And I went down the John Harvard library and I looked at the address. And I didn't have to look very long, even though it was a microfiche at that time, to see that the map showed very clearly this was the site of the Crossbones graveyard. And I thought to myself, well, surely it's not appropriate to put a 10-story tower block here, or even a 4-story temporary porter cabin for the period of 10 years. None of them were a good idea. And so I started to put some awareness posters up to say, please write to your local council and say it's not appropriate for this site to be redeveloped. And this is where we are now. So we've only got 30 years, but we're aiming for in perpetuity, and everyone that participates in the idea of in perpetuity for this site, because it has revealed itself to be such a significant thing. I didn't realise at the time what would be uncovered. It was just, you know, a little bit here and a little bit there. And the local boot blogger used to call me a liar. He said, no, that's not true. My rail track clients don't like the lies that you're posting. but I'd happened across a book in the Museum of London library, which is called Crossbones Graveyard, Red Cross Way and Southwark Street. And it's the Museum of London's findings of their first archaeological dig on this site. And it gives the facts, and the facts are unequivocal. And the fact that the substation was ever built is absolutely a travesty. And we've got to make sure that we all do remain active in order to make sure that this remains for future generations, not just 30 years, because I've done 30 years. That's a lifetime already. And 30 years is not enough. So there is.
Gentlemen, that's Zana. Zana has campaigned for Crossbones for 30 years. She's run 3 campaigns. The first campaign was called Save the Crossbones Graveyard campaign. The second campaign, when they called her a liar, said Crossbones didn't exist, said she was a nutter. That was called This is the Crossbones Graveyard campaign. And when they still ignored her after years and years, she's led a campaign that she is leading now. This is still the Crossbones Graveyard campaign. Part of the campaign has been, because Zana's an artist, part of the campaign has been the skull and crossbones. This is still the Crossbones Graveyard. Each time a different iteration comes out, although the skull and the long bones are always the same, there's always a different focus. I believe that was Christmas.
That was Christmas. That was my goddaughter who was 5.
Natalie's 5-year-old goddaughter decorated it. I'm not sure.
She loves it. She calls it the Magic Garden.
It's the Magic Garden. This was Zana's contribution during lockdown. Because we didn't have a lot to laugh about. And there have been many, many different iterations of the campaign. And as Zana says, that campaign is still going on. If you want to be part of it, I'm sure Zana's got ideas and, you know, talk to her. Is there anybody else? Said the traveller. Anybody wants to offer? I'm going to close then this section of the sacred offerings with more goose words. And where the goose introduced herself in that first poem, she shows herself to be as human as the rest of us. But that's difficult for an imagination to work with. How can the goose, the spirit of this place, how can that be a person? How does it work? Lots of people say to me, who's the goose? What's the goose? If anybody says to you, who or what is the goose? Goose Rhapsody, this poem. I am the wind. I rake the wild grasses. I am the reaper, the sower, the seed. I am the days of the bonny lads and lasses. I am the night where their secret paths lead. I am the sense field. I flower in your fingers. I am the musk in the dusk of the day. I am the ghost of a smile that lingers where the face where it flickered has faded away. I'm the song of a blackbird in Eden. I'm the waft of a butterfly's wing. And I am here in the static and stutter that shudder how much I can take in. I am the white noise of the nervous system. I am the silence in which it reroutes. I am the gods and the men who resist them, the madness in the eyes of the men in suits. I am in George. I must conquer my dragon. I am in Martha, I nurse the red gash. I am Hag Keridwen with her raw red rag on. I am Carly, razor in the flash and slash. I am the light in the shadow revealing. I am the grace that transfigures the sin. I am the wound that prefigures the healing. I am the light of the traveller's inn. I'll be your icon, your muse, your conceit. I'll be whatever you would have me be. I'll be Mary Magdalene washing your feet if it helps you see through what divides you from me. The goose, ladies and gentlemen, and John Froe. Now, I'm not exactly sure how to do this. We've only got one more. I might have a little show of hands. We've only got one more ritual to do, which is where we hang ourselves on the gates. We do the final blessings. Shall we eat cake first?
Prepare yourself, Zoom vigil, for watching them eating cake.
Anybody want to come and take a photograph before Charmaine cuts the cake? I want you to take that first cut, Charmaine. It's going in vigilante. Charmaine, you only have to do the first one, then you can sit yourself down. I'm sure we'll have lines and to cut the rest. Can we have a roll of drums, ladies and gentlemen, however you manage to do that?
It is very difficult.
Would you mind if we've got volunteers to hand out, please? I'm not sure how many napkins we've got. If anybody's happy to come and just take a cake, piece of cake without a napkin, come ahead. Yes. Ten's on the paper fronts there. 10. Look now, this gentleman with 2 hands.
That looks good. Is that okay? Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, roll up, don't be shy. I think there'll be enough for everybody, don't you? I hope so. Nice to see you. Okay, here we are.
I'm okay.
You got nothing around? I've got enough cake. I don't know if I've got enough swerviettes. That's it.
I know there's lots of different events. It's easy to do that. Yeah, that's July. Yeah. Oh, did you?
So busy filming.
What's the verdict?
No, it's very tasty.
Is it?
Yeah.
I'm just telling everyone on Zoom. Make them very jealous.
Boo! It looks lovely.
I'm not going to have any until the end of the vigil.
Oh,
right?
Natalie, that's very strong of you. Thank you. That's very solidarity, Natalie.
And I'm keeping the filming going. Sorry, guys.
You're very good.
Yeah. I was eating too much birthday cake yesterday because my friend turned 100.
Goodness me. Happy birthday, your friend.
5 cakes yesterday at the great get together.
Goodness
Guest of honor.
me. 100.
I know.
Goodness.
She's in Southwark News this week. If anybody's in, she's
What's her name, Natalie?
Joyce Coote.
Joyce.
She's Joyce, yeah.
Happy birthday, Joyce.
And she's been a big supporter of Crossbones as
Oh,
well.
how fabulous.
This comes, so.
That is fabulous.
And her younger sister who's 96.
How amazing.
Well, now I'd like to apologise to all you poor people who are not getting cake.
Thank you, Jennifer. How kind. How kind.
And we've got a few feathers left over if you'd like me to repeat a few gifts that you want to share around.
Yes, please. That'd be lovely. Oh, look, we're going to get a gift, everyone.
How many of them are there?
There's 4 of us here, and could you do one for Facebook as well? Then like one for everyone. Maybe do it like that.
I can't hear what she's saying. The
right.
first one.
Resilience. Goose and the crow bring you the gift of hospitality. Well, that's a bitter one, isn't it? When everyone's eating cake in front of us.
We'll eat a bit for you.
Thank you. The goose and the crow bring you the gift of energy. Lovely. I'll have that. Goose and the crow bring you the gift of gentleness. Oh, that's lovely. Thank you. Can we have one for Facebook? Because Facebook also aren't eating cake. So this is for Facebook, everyone. The goose and the crow bring you the gift of...
Hang on. I picked up 2.
Oh, 2. Discernment. Oh, that's a good one, isn't it?
I got the gift of love.
Oh, that's lovely. Love. This is for Facebook also. Thank you. A loving heart. There you go, Facebook. Thank you, Jennifer.
You're very welcome, my angel.
I can't eat. Gotta keep filming.
Facebook say thank you for the gifts and happy birthday to Joyce.
Oh, bless it. It's falling apart at the seam.
Well, I'll put it all in.
You can pop it all in there.
Yes, I'll put it somehow. Put it in.
I'm going to leave you to do that anyway. Who wants seconds?
Save me a bit.
We're not taking notes. I won't be reporting it in vigilance.
I'm going to save a piece because I can't eat.
Come and get
Eat and
seconds,
film
or
at the
even
same
in some cases, third.
I'm going to steal.
But I'm naming no names, am I, Josie?
Oh, amazing. Thank you. Because I've got to save it before everybody else.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. I know you're filming.
Oh, it's Doug.
Where are they posted? They are still posted, aren't they?
On YouTube?
On YouTube. is it?
Yeah.
And
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember.
General know.
I know. I should know. Because I do it all. I'm the lady that posts it all. Jackie who runs it sends it to me. It's on. Do you get the newsletters?
I don't.
Oh, sorry. Well, at the end when we finish, if I take your email and I'll show you, and then I'll be able to be a bit clearer.
I can do it. I'll keep going if you don't mind. that'd be
Oh
great.
no, absolutely. We'll just do it at the end when I've got more hands. Is that all right? Thank you. Right, no one steal my bit. It's hidden.
Fake hiding. Katie on Facebook says, happy 100th birthday, Joyce. Happy 20th, Crossbones. There you go.
I would
Bye,
assume so.
Ruth.
At the end. Okay, I think everybody's had their whack. Yeah. Either I will do that or people will go with it.
Sorry. Sorry.
I think everybody's had their elegant sufficiency, apart from a few who haven't. I don't care how many bits you have. But there will be more if anybody wants to take some home for a child, a son, a daughter, a granny. Please feel free, as is traditional. William, did you get your bit of cake? Do you want another bit of cake? I'm going to use Ian as a guide because when Ian's finished eating, we are all going to hang ourselves on the gate. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last ritual of this evening's vigil, may I invite you all to come as close as you possibly can to the gates, to touch the gates, and if there are so many of you that you can't touch the gate, touch somebody that's touching the gates. When we do this final ritual, we always seal ourselves in with our sacrament, which we choose to be gin. So Terry is going to go from behind William, round in a circle. This young man's going to get included as well, because there is no audience, my darling. You're in or you're out. So stop filming or join in. Terry will come round all of us, right to the very edge, to seal us in, the living, the dead, those yet to be. Carry on, Terry, because you'll have not started and I'll have finished talking already. And then we're going to do two blessings. They are both call and return blessings, where I will call out a word or a phrase and you will repeat it back. And then that first blessing we repeat twice, just so you know what's going to be happening, because I'm not going to tell you what we say on the last blessing, because it might make you frightened and run away. Are we ready, Terry? Life,
Life,
health,
health,
happiness,
happiness,
open
open
pathways, health in the
body,
body,
peace in
peace
the
in the
spirit,
spirit,
love in the heart,
love in the heart, health in the body, peace in the spirit, love in the heart.
It is
It is this that we wish
for ourselves,
for ourselves,
for our friends and
for our friends and family,
for all our kindred,
Good. For the goose and the crow, and for all humanity.
And for all humanity.
this
It is this that we wish
This that we wish
for ourselves,
ourselves,
for our friends and family,
friends and family,
for all our kindred,
all our kindred,
for the goose and the crow,
the goose and the crow,
and for all humanity.
for all humanity.
So,
May it be so.
May it be so.
goose, may you never be hungry.
Goose, may you never be hungry.
Goose, may you never be thirsty.
Goose, may you
May
never be thirsty.
May your spirit fly free.
Goose, may your spirit fly free.
So she does, everybody.
So she does.
He does.
Thank you so much for everybody for coming to this wonderful celebration and vigil. As you can see, the captain's hat is now empty. That's because it's waiting for you lot to fill it up. If anybody's got a small amount of change to help with the expenses of running the vigil, I'm going to pass the hat amongst you, and please feel free to put something in it. Thank you. Natalie and I run a monthly newsletter to do with the vigil and to Crossbones. It's called Vigilante. Vigilante. And if anybody wants to sign up for Vigilante, please see me or Nats afterwards. Put your name down on the list.
Blessing and bards.
The blessings and bards, as you will see here, just by Melissa Joe, is the most amazing day for me in the Crossbones calendar. Things change so much. Transformation. When we first came here, we of the vigil believe that transformation is possible. Sorry, this should be in the vigil, but I'm just yakking now. And the garden that we were imagining was there was going to be a manifestation, a physical manifestation that transformation is possible. Whatever it is, whether it's a piece of waste ground or whether it's a person, anything can be unloved, disrespected, not treated nicely, abused, go from a place of deep sorrow and pain and transform into a place of peace and beauty. Our garden for us is this. Since 2016 or 2015.
This is 10 years this year.
It's 10 years, so it might have been 2014. The Dean of Southwark Cathedral processes over here with his, what's the audience called?
His crew.
Congregation, thank you. It's
Posse.
not an audience. They process over here and the clergy perform an act of regret, remembrance and restoration. The Dean wrote the service his own self, where he offers the church's apologies for the heinous things that have been done in the past. He says he knows apologies are easy and that they take the next step, they will be doing good in future. Last year, when he was making that act of faith, I felt from under the ground come the most beautiful feeling of forgiveness that spreads through the garden over and around us. It's an experience to treasure. That is the blessings. The bards, which come after, is run by Cunning Folk, and it's musical offerings. Cunning Folk will be singing, I'll be doing a bit of poetry, maybe even singing if you really don't want to come. You will be welcome to put your names down as singers there as well as now. It's free, but there are limited places. There are only 150 places. So sign up on
Eventbrite. There's a QR code.
On the QR code for Eventbrite and get your free tickets there. Next to that is the Goose and Her Garden talks. There are still 3 more Goose and Garden talks. I offer the shortest tour in the world. We start outside the garden and we end up on the inside. It's an hour at lunchtime because I figured people might want, you know, something nice at lunchtime. So that's when we do that. Have I finished? Natalie tells me I'm finished. Thank you very much. Now, there is more. No, not more of me talking.
There we're back. Hello, everyone. Hello, Facebook. It's been very lively on Facebook tonight, just for the people on the Zoom. So thank you, Facebook. Hello, Doug, who's just joined.
Hello, yeah. Sorry, I'm
hello.
late.
Hello, that's all right. It's the 20th anniversary of the vigils, Doug. So it's been very exciting. There's been cake. Not for us, obviously. We've had to withstand watching cake eating, but, you know, it's been great.
I remembered it all day until it was time.
Oh, it's all right. That's how it goes, is it? Especially when it's light so late. It's hard to remember what time it is, really. Does anybody, before we end, sorry, Doug, did you want to say something?
I couldn't get logged on last time.
Oh, no, it didn't happen last time because I couldn't do the Zoom last time. I had to go to a different event and I really, 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 really wanted to go to it. It was important to me. So and there's nobody else to do it. So I'm sorry about that. So there wasn't a Zoom last time, but that's the only time we haven't had a Zoom, isn't it? For like 5 years or 4 years. So we're always here except for last month because somebody I know wrote a book and she dedicated it to me, bless her. So I felt I must go to the book launch. It was very lovely. If anybody wants to read the book, it's called The Joy Bringers and it's by Karen Celestine. It's absolutely beautiful and I love it. So yeah, so that was why I wasn't here. It just happened to be on a Crossbones night, which was a shame. Does anybody here want to share any for our sharings? You know, they have their little sharings part at Crossbones. If anyone here wants to say anything or share anything, we can do that now as part of the recording. And Facebook are still watching. I was just thinking, if anyone on Facebook ever wants to share anything, you could send it to me or put it in the comments and I could read it out. So it will be these recordings end up on YouTube. So so that everybody can watch them and so they're kept as a record, really. Because we need to keep these records so that we can protect the gates. As Zana was saying, we need to kind of keep it going so they know that people care and people are watching. So it's important. So the recordings will be on YouTube. If anybody ever wants to share anything, I'm very happy to read it out for you or for you to do it now. Katie says, a wonderful evening, thank you. Hilary says, I'll bring something to share next month. Yeah, that would be great. Cass says, love this. Exactly. Thank you, everyone on Facebook for being here. Does anyone want to say anything before we go? Oh, Doug's doing his candles. That's good. Beth, do you want to say something?
I was just really struck by the idea of being able to call upon those buried in the graveyard as my ancestors. I have been to my first South Asian queer event and stepping into that element of connecting with my cultural heritage more, but I often feel not queer enough, not South Asian enough, and it's just really hard to think about having a lineage and an ancestry when we're quite rare being second generation mixed race, and I have a lot of story around how that makes me an outcast, and being able to go, actually there is a place for that, there is a place and a community that is there for the people who have nowhere else to belong. That's yeah, so
thank you, Beth. That's really beautiful. What a beautiful reflection of what Crossbones is, because it is for the outcast completely, and it's, yeah, bless your heart. I'm so glad that you've connected with people in different ways. Like, I think even, isn't it amazing that even in our outcastness we feel that we're not enough, you know, we're not enough outcast, we're not enough, you know, it's just like some the things that we hold in ourselves about whether we're good enough to be outcast even. It's just astonishing, isn't it? And Crossbones is such an amazing place of healing for that, I think, of like acceptance and just of everybody being there together, and people who you wouldn't think felt outcast at all, who are very like centered in the world, still have their outcast places. And yeah, very, very touching. And I've been at the gates a few times, and there used to be a homeless man who used to be the guardian of the gates. He decided to be the guardian of the gates, and he would come and talk to people if they stopped at the gates. And I remember when I first met him that I was at the gates. It wasn't during a vigil, I'd just gone there, I think. And then he walked past and he said, "What is this?" And I explained to him what it was. And he said, "But they're just like me." And he couldn't believe it. And I said, "Yeah, and this is hundreds of years later, after these people were buried, people are standing here tying ribbons on the gates. What an extraordinary thing that is," because he felt so invisible in the world and so forgotten. And I remember that I had a little bunch of lavender, and I said, you could put this on the gates. And he said, "Oh, I can't do that. I'm not allowed to do that." Do you know what I mean? Because he didn't feel good enough even to put a little bunch of lavender on the gates. Crossbones is a very it's taught me so much about humanity and those broken places in us, and the resilience, because that was one of the words, wasn't it? The resilience that we have in our outcastness, our outcastery. Katie says, "Bless all the this is on Facebook, bless all the outcasts, Crossbones and everywhere on this beautiful planet of ours." And Corinne says, "Love to you, Beth." Katie says, "Inclusion, bless you, Beth, you are a goose." And Kaz says, "I feel very connected to Crossbones." Katie says, "We honour, we remember, we notice and acknowledge." Exactly. So we've all got a place at Crossbones, that's the thing. So there we are. Does anybody else want to share anything before we end? We just say, yes.
Oh yes,
Jenny.
yes. I'd like I found it very interesting, the outcast within ourselves. And I'm dealing with shame in my time of I was quite outcast in my family because I was a single parent, and pointed out at a family do that, and she's done it twice with two different fathers. And it's giving me a pattern and raising my wholeness, that actually I've always meant well, and I didn't see myself as an outcast really. I just saw myself as very brave when I needed to be.
Yes.
And I love this. And she brought up that there was 140 something people there, and 50% of that was children. And that really touches my heart, and what's wrong with this world, and how if we could see ourselves as a whole and not have these battles, how this will bring our world into wholeness as well.
Yes.
And it's made me quite emotional. And
yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, acknowledging how brave outcasts need to be. How
Bloody
brave.
yes.
Yeah, bloody brave. Yeah, absolutely. Acknowledging the bravery of all outcasts.
Yes.
Even in acknowledging that we're outcasts, that's brave,
Yes.
isn't it? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
With pride.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank
Oh,
you.
here's somebody else who's joining now. This is chaos tonight. Honestly, it's midsummer, isn't it? It's midsummer mayhem. Hello, Daniela. We're just about to end, I think. Does anybody else want to share anything before we end? Kaz says we need to find peace within ourselves. We do. Katie says, "Jenny, you are whole, love. Celebrate our otherness." Exactly. Oh, Daniela's gone again. Well, there we are. Does anyone else want to say anything before we end? Well, it's been a joy, and I've been very honoured to share this space with everyone who's here. Thank you to Natalie for when she watches this later for her beautiful filming at the gates, which is so kind, and her sacrifice of not eating cake because she was filming for us, which is really lovely. So thank you, Natalie, for that. Her filming is so beautiful and such a gift to us to really like be able to connect with the gates. So such a lovely thing. So thank you to Natalie. Thank you to Jennifer, of course, for all her amazing work at the gates. And thank you to us all for being here, because we're all keeping Crossbones alive in the world, and that really matters. So I'm going to end the Facebook live stream now. So bye-bye, Facebook. We can all wave at Facebook. Bye-bye, Facebook. Thank you for being there. See you next month. Let's stop that. There we go. And shall we say goodbye then? Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, 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 Doug. Bye, Jenny. Bye, Beth. Bye, Ruth. See you soon.